I don't even have to tell you who it's going to be because you already know if you've watched one of our broadcasts. Number one from Palos Verde Estates in California, Jackson Carlitz. Coming off a 1-goal game last time out, last night against Dakota College at Bottineau. And Northeastern, we'll get into the goaltenders a little bit after the introductions. Speaking of introductions, the horn is buzzed, so we're going to send it down to center ice for the pregame festivities from Joy Burns Arena.
Hello, hockey fans. Welcome to the Joy Burns Arena for the 2026 ACHA Men's Division II Big Mountain Classic Showcase, hosted by the Big Mountain Hockey Conference. Starting lineup, the Northeastern University Huskies. At left defense, number 27, George Foster. At right defense, number 2, Eric Elberry. At left wing, number 13, Nick Gordon. At right wing, number 6, Joe Fletcher. At center, number 25, Kyle Wilson. And in goal, number 51, Steve Jensen. Now starting lineup for the University of Pennsylvania. At left defense, number 7, Tommy Nolan. At right defense, number 15, Christian Navarro. At left wing, number 16, Ryan Simon. At right wing, number 24, Henry Seebeck. At center, number 2, Willem Bender. In goal, number 1, Jackson Carlitz. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to please rise, hold your hands, and join us in honoring our country with the flag of our national anthem.
So we were just about set and ready to go. Apologies, I've been told that the majority of my intro got cut off, so let me simplify this for everybody. DU Northeastern, 13th team in the Northeast versus the 10th best team in the West. When I spoke to all the coaches from DU before this game, they were all excited to get this one going. They were telling me that this is a game they've had circled on their calendar ever since the Big Mountain Classic schedule came out. And where would you rather be on a Friday night than Joy Burns Arena in downtown Denver? The Broncos don't play till tomorrow, so sit back, relax, and enjoy some unbelievable hockey. It's the Big Mountain Classic, presented by Price Productions. I'm Ben Canvasser. We appreciate you spending some time with us. Starting lineup for your Pioneers: Van Arum, Seebeck, and Ryan Simon at forwards. On defense, it's Tommy Moen, who has the puck right now with Christian Navarro. And we'll get an early icing here as that puck is sent back into play. No icing as Van Arum chops down one of the Northeastern defenders. Puck loose along the near side. Taken up by Northeastern. Brought forward by Nick Larkin. Larkin makes a move in on the zone. Stood up by Seebeck and Van Arum. Far side. There's a shot right in front of the net. Karlitz with a good save early on here. Behind the net for Putram. Taken by Moen. A lot of physicality early on here as Larkin sent Moen down to the boards. Putram has it. Plays it back to Foster, who fires it back into the DU zone, settled down by Van Arum. Moen slides it back to Navarro. Navarro looking for Simon along the left side. Just couldn't reach him. Moen in the middle, just too far for Mirovic, so now Northeastern can play with the puck in their own zone. It's taken by Charlie Falk. Here's a turnover in the Northeastern end. Mirovic has it looking in the slot for Brophy. Nobody there. Falk has it for Northeastern. Here comes Northeastern on the attack. It's Bear. Playing give and go with Cunningham. Bear shot, ricochets wide. Here's a shot from the point, loose in front of the net, and now DU could break. Here comes Nolan Patrick, one of the leading goal scorers for the Pioneers, and he'll dump it into the Northeastern end. Brophy on there on the attack. Played back into the middle, taken by Northeastern. Here's an opportunity for the Huskies. There's a shot in front of the net, and another loose puck that Karlitz is unable to hold on to. Here's a 3-on-2 as Patrick will dump it in. Changwalker will go in there against O'Connell. He'll play it back for number 44, Will Romberger. Big hit laid there by Blake Bazin. And there's another big hit laid there by one of the Pioneers defenders. This is a statement game for both of these teams. They're looking to solidify themselves in the top 16 of each of these regions and have an opportunity to win a national championship. And you could sense that energy early on in this contest. Changwalker playing into the boards. Jimmy Triplett had a goal last night. He has the puck now. Back to Changwalker in the corner. Big hit late at the blue line. But here's an opportunity for Northeastern. And a great defensive effort there at the last second. Taken away by Zach Ben, who will go off for a well-deserved change as Triplett dumps it into the Northeastern end. Picked up by Malvar. Kept in by Moen. Behind the net and taken by number 5, Mike Martinez. O'Connell will send it all the way around the end. Navarro, unable to keep it in the zone, will just have to turn and fire it back into the Northeastern end. And that puck will go down to the Northeastern end for an icing with 16:35 remaining in the first period. Your future built with confidence. Financial decisions are easier with a partner by your side. New York Life's agents and advisors take the time to understand your goals and dreams so you can build the future you imagine. To learn more, visit www.newyorklife.com. Offensive zone draw here for DU as the number 1 line is out there, centered by Willem Van Arum. Puck comes out to the blue line, now chipped up ahead. It's going to be a foot race, and Navarro's going to beat out Malvar to the puck. Played up ahead for Ryan Simon. Simon fires one in on goal. Starting goaltender tonight for Northeastern, Steve Jensen. making his first save of the game. Back to the blue line. Navarro fires a wrist shot. Jensen coasts that puck into the far side corner. They battle away for it in the near side corner. Van Arm brings the puck out in front of the net. Jensen eventually able to cover it up. So a couple of early chances here for DU. But Steve Jensen, the 5'9" goaltender from Boston, Massachusetts, hometown kid for the Northeastern Huskies, getting the nod in this contest. Jensen came into this game. This is his 7th game. He is 1-3-0 with only 4 decisions on the season. 3.40 goal allowed average with a .836 save percentage. Here's Bear, just skates by the puck and right into the hands of Brophy, who plays it back to Gardner. Slides it over for Chang Walker. In the slot for Mirovic. Puts a shot in on goal, but batted away by Jensen. Brophy has it in the far side corner, plays it back for Mirovic. Patrick and Mirovic both get caught behind the net, and now Northeastern, for a moment there, had an opportunity break, and now they do. Here's Bear with the puck. Plays it into the corner for Donlon. Brophy chops at it. Cunningham fired it towards the net, but now it's back to Donlon. Cycles it back over to Bear along the far side corner. And now that puck is played into the neutral zone. Nolan Patrick avoids the hit. Chris Brophy can't get that far. He's chopped down at the blue line, and now Northeastern can regather. Cody Bjorndal making his first appearance on the ice tonight. Sends it back into the Northeastern end. Jensen will play it behind his net. Picked up by Charlie Falk. Now turned over. Thrown in front of the net, comes out to Ben. Ben slides it over to Vena. Vena walks in, fires a shot. Glove down there by Jensen. We'll get a stoppage of play with 14:31 remaining in the period. Offensive draw to the left side of Jensen. Blake Bazin digs in. Northeastern wins the draw. It comes out to Martinez. He has it now. He'll play it up to the red line. Taken by Zach Phillips. Taken off the puck by Colston Bazin. And now here comes Bjorndal back the other way. He'll put a shot in on goal. Jensen doesn't know where it is. Puck was still loose, but they'll cover it up with 14:11 remaining. Good opportunity there for Colston Bazin, who's also, check that, Cody Bjorndal, who's also been on a tear as of late. Coming into the Big Mountain Classic, he had scored 4 goals in the previous 3 games, and the Pioneers on a 4-game winning streak where they've scored more than 5 goals in all of those contests. If you're keeping track at home, DU is also 10-1 on the season now when they score more than 4 goals. Puck played back into the Huskies' end. Albury's got it. He'll lead the charge for Northeastern. Brings it across the red line. Now he'll dump it back. It swings around the boards. Malvar can't get the puck very deep. Comes out. Lundmark fires a shot, and that one will be saved by Karlitz. 13:36 remaining in the first period. Northeastern coming into this Big Mountain Classic, not a ton of goals on the season, just 50. When you take a look at it, though, they've only played 19 games, but they're only averaging 2.42 goals per game. They average giving up 2.53. Van Arm with a big hit. Kept in by Romanberger. Now here comes Willem Van Arm. Puck still in the DU zone. Wilson plays it out to the middle. Looking backside for Romberger. Just too far, and now DU can break. Here's Kincaid, his shot blocked, and now back the other way comes Northeastern. It's Larkin, and he has taken off the puck. Good defensive play there by Navarro. In the middle for Seebeck. Delayed offsides, DU doesn't see it, and now we'll get a stoppage of play with 12:54 for the offsides. This game is sponsored by the Colorado Media School. CMS is an American private institution that instructs students in all areas of the broadcast media industry. It is a comprehensive hands-on program where students are trained by broadcast media professionals currently working in the field. Visit www.beonair.com to learn more. Huskies control the puck in their own zone. Turned back over to DU. Now it's taken by Gardner. Thrown in the middle for Triplett. Looking for Sigmund. Sigmund's taken off the puck, and now Bain has it. Check that, Bear. Puck coasting back into the DU end. Northeastern keeps it in. Here's an opportunity. Chang Walker gets his body in front of the puck and knocks it down. Triplett spinning with it in his own zone. Hands it off to Gardner. Gardner flips it towards the middle, and Rowan and Ann can now break free. Sigmund looking to crash towards the front of the net, but instead he goes towards the puck. Triplett kicks it down to the corner for Rowan and Ann. Zach Ben, late arriving defenseman at the blue line, calling for the puck. Ben does a good job of chipping in, but now Bear could break out for Northeastern. Here comes Hudson Small now. Small, driven into the boards hard by Shane Sigmund. Still has the puck looking towards the slot. He was trying to find his forward, but the puck took a deflection, and now Northeastern will retreat back into their zone with Elbury. Fires it up just outside the reach of his forward. Takes a deflection off one of the linesman's skates, and now Northeastern can attack. There's a big hit laid by Mirovic to knock the forward off the puck. Number 91 dragged down to the ice by Zach Ben. No call there. Back to the blue line. It's Foster. Walks in, fires a shot. There's a save by Karlitz. And now DU will play that puck back into the Northeastern zone. We're going to get an icing upcoming here. 11:02 in this scoreless first period between DU and Northeastern. Jackson Karlitz, a guy who does both jobs. He's the starting goaltender for the Pioneers. Also, I learned this morning he is the team president. He handles all the scheduling and travel requirements. Here's an opportunity for DU. Brophy puts the brakes on, fires a shot. Jensen will cover it up. Offensive zone face-off coming up here for the Pioneers. It's won back by Blake Bazin. Shot from the point, redirects high and out of play, so we'll get another stoppage in play. Face-off won by Bazin, throws it in the front for Colston. Moen will fire it back into the Northeastern zone. DU was offside, so they'll have to tag up. Here comes Romberger streaking his way into the zone. Loses the puck. Leonard does a good job to keep it in for Northeastern. Puck played around the end line. Taken by Bjorndal. Fires it right side for Navarro. Plays it up for Colston Bazin, who chips it in. Blake Bazin goes in and chases after it. Here comes Northeastern, back with the puck. Lundmark thrown into the boards and then chucks the official down to the ground. Here's Navarro, silky move, brings the puck all the way into the zone and then is chopped down in front of the net. So now they'll have to retreat. It's Putram, Lundmark, Wilson, shot. Good save by Karlitz. And then some exception taken in front of the net by Gardner, who throws a little bit of a shove right in the face of one of the Northeastern players. Joe Putram. So face-off coming to the right side of Karlitz. Number one line out there for DU. And no penalty called there. Looked like a pretty clear trip to me. But as it stands, Van Arm has the puck now. He'll turn and fire it, trying to get it out. Kept in by Northeastern. Taken at the blue line by Martinez. He fires a shot that just goes wide. Wilson hammered into the boards by Chang Walker. And then right in front of the official, Putram just two-handed shoved Gardner in the back. Here comes Ryan Simon. Play onside, slides it over, Van Arm in the slot. There's a chance. What a save by Steve Jensen. Nearly the first goal scoring opportunity. And the officials are really letting everybody play. I've seen 3 or 4 penalties myself that haven't been called. Here's Seabeck, brings it in. Gardner drops it off for Van Arm, and he can't get the shot off. The Northeastern bench up in arms over that no call. Puck loose in front of the net. Carlos does a good job to get the stick on it. Knee-on-knee collision. 2 men go down. That was Vena and Cunningham. Now it's brought back in by Foster. Foster fires a shot, takes a deflection high and out of play. 8:33 remaining in the second period. Are you ordering jerseys? Well, if you're like me, you know that ordering jerseys used to be a nightmare, but not anymore. Custom fit, pro quality, delivered in 4 weeks or less. If you've ever dealt with late orders, cheap material, gear that looked nothing like the mock-up, you're not alone. To learn about the real deal, visit www.threaddaneedle.com. Puck still in the DU end. Action-packed first period. About as action-packed as you can get without having a single goal being scored so far. Vena will fire it back into the Northeastern end. It'll be taken by George Foster, 6'1" defenseman from Darien, Connecticut. Plays it up. Here's Bear. Drops it off to Cunningham. Can't get a shot off. Good back check by Jimmy Triplett. Moen plays it up for Anand. Here's a 2-on-1. Anand slides it over. Great defensive play there by Eric Elbery. Sliding in the middle of the passing lane and denying DU a good goal scoring opportunity. Puck will be played back into the DU end, and this is going to go down all the way for an icing with 7:43 remaining. DU kicked things off in the Big Mountain Classic last night with a 7-1 emphatic victory over Dakota College at Botnow. This is their second game. Northeastern making their first appearance in this competition. Speaking with the commissioner for the Big Mountain Hockey Conference today, he was so excited to have Northeastern here because of what a big national powerhouse they are, especially at the ACHA level. Moen plays it over to Patrick. Over to Elberry. He'll fire it back in, and now DU will have to go get it. There's a shot on goal, takes a deflection to the near side corner. Now it's taken by Small. Small looking to throw it in front. Phillips' shot just goes wide. Back at the blue line for Lawton. Slides it over for Small. Small looking for somebody in the slot. There's nobody there. Fox calling for the puck. There's a wrist shot and a great block by Mirovic. Puck comes over to the blue line. There's a shot that takes a deflection and redirects wide of the net. Patrick just going to clear this puck out to the neutral zone where it's fielded by Falk. Now Moen has it. Spinning with it is Falk. And he gets cross-checked in the back by Nolan Patrick. Phillips has it in the far side corner, drops it back to Falk, glove down by Patrick. Patrick looking for Brophy, finds Mirovic instead. Mirovic trying to go 1-against-4, stood up there by Falk. Skate-on-skate contact. Here's a turnover in their own zone. Leonard spins and fires the puck towards the front of the net. Nobody in black there. Rink wide pass. Bazin fires a shot. Goes wide. Blake Bazin has the puck behind the net now. Looking towards the slot as Bjorndal comes late off the bench. There's a puck loose in front of the net. Jensen can't see it. Now the puck is redirected into the far side corner. Big hitting going on at both ends here as Gardner retreats to play the puck. Finds 0-0 Bjorndal. He'll flip it into the zone, and he takes a big hit there, timed by Malvar. Gardner stepping in to keep the puck in the zone. He does for the time being, but he gets tied up, and it'll come back out to the neutral zone. Bazin fires it in. Bjorndal goes in chasing after it. Nifty puck work there by Martinez. Here's Wilson, 2-on-1. There's a quick shot. Good save by Carlitz. And another big hit as Blake Bazin drives one of the Huskies into the boards. Here's Bjorndal. He gets a step. In on goal, fires a shot just wide. Van Arum, laid off the bench, does a good job. Keep the puck in the zone, and that thing will take a deflection out of play, and we'll get a stoppage with 4:56. Everybody take a breather. Sagian Financial Services. Knowledge is the Sagian way. Our name comes from the Latin word for those who know or perceive quickly. We get to know our clients deeply and provide personally tailored financial guidance for a fast-changing world. To learn more about Sagian Financial Services and how they can help you and your family, visit www.sagianfs.com. Here come the Huskies back the other way as that puck is sent back into the DUN, and it'll be another icing and stoppage of play with 4:49. The pace of this game right now is pretty phenomenal. And you can tell both teams, for the most part, are all up, standing, and watching this intently. Seebeck has the puck in the corner. Simon being hounded. Seebeck now finally is able to get the puck back to the blue line, fires it back in. Good job by Simon to keep the puck in the zone. Simon spins with it. Gets taken down. Here's Van Arum. Turns, wrist shot too high. Puck in the near side corner, comes out to Simon in the front. And Jensen eager and ready to make that save as we have more pushing and shoving here after the whistle. You would think with the intensity of this game, we would have had at least one or two penalties called just to kind of quiet things down. But to that I say, let the boys play. This action has been unbelievable at both ends of the ice so far, and it's exactly what you expected when these two teams got paired together for this contest. Face-off coming to the left side here of Jensen. Won by DU, but won too well as that puck creeps back into the Pioneer zone. Navarro, rink wide looking for Sigmund, but instead it's going to fall into the arms of O'Connell. He'll play it up, glove down by Moen. Back to an end. Over to Navarro. Looking in the middle for Triplett. Triplett stood up. Here's Triplett. He's got Sigmund in the slot. Over to Sigmund. Oh, and his shot just too high. Great opportunity there for DU. There's a quick shot fired on. Jensen worthy of the task. Here comes Zach Phillips. He has to get around Tommy Moen. He does, but Moen does enough to knock him off his line. Puck drop back for Lundmark. Plays it to the point for Martinez. There's a quick wrist shot, takes a deflection into the far side corner. Phillips nearly dragged onto the ice. Triplett does a good job to get the puck out to the neutral zone, and it'll be played back in, and Moen will go back to grab it. Over to Navarro. Up ahead to Brophy. Taken by Foster. Lundmark has it now. He'll bring it into the DU zone. He'll fire a pass towards Malvar in the middle. Malvar not there. There's a loose man out in front. And Carlitz, what a great save. And now we're going to get a penalty upcoming here as there's going to be a cross-checking call against DU. Delayed penalty coming up, and now finally we will get a touch with 2:39 remaining in the first period. And I believe it's going to be Nolan Patrick guilty of the crime. He'll go to the sin bin to serve two for cross-checking in front of the net. So that brings up the first power play opportunity for either of these teams tonight. And it's going to be the Huskies from Northeastern on it. Larkin centers Putram and Phillips. Face-off won by the Pioneers. And instantly fired back into the Northeastern end. Northeastern looking to slow things up here and set up that power play unit of theirs. Taken in by Larkin. Stood up at the blue line. Plays it over to Fox. Fox slides it over to Foster. Successful in bringing the puck across the blue line. Foster drops it back to Phillips. Phillips slides it over to Larkin. Back at the point, Fox's shot just goes wide. And now Vena can clear it again here. He throws it off the back of Fox, and now Colston Bazin can waste some more time here. He dumps it in, and now he'll go off for a change. And Shane Seebeck will come onto the ice. Puck comes up here and is taken by Larkin. He'll fire it in, gets checked by Seebeck. Putram leaves it for Phillips, and that puck will barely stay in, but only for a second, as now Singman's able to get it all the way back down into the Northeastern end. 48 seconds remaining on the minor penalty assessed to Patrick. Puck along the near side board, sent back into the DUN. Moen will win that race, fires it out to the blue line. Elberry gloves it down. In the middle for Wilson. Passing lanes are all blocked, and there's a good clear by Seebeck with 20 seconds remaining in the man advantage. One more opportunity on this power play for Northeastern. Puck is brought in by Elberry. Looking to go coast to coast. His pass goes wide. Bear has it. Cycles it all the way around. 3 seconds remaining, and DU's going to kill this power play. Brophy brings the puck into the Northeastern zone. Gets stood up. Mirovic has it now. He loses it. And now here's a potential odd man rush. It's Larkin, full of speed. Brings the puck into the zone. Karlitz can't cover it, and the puck is still loose behind the net. Out in front, and now finally, Mirovic will flip it out to to center ice. And we have a player down behind the play, and it looks to be Kyle Wilson, who is down and in some pain. And now the trainers will come out to tend to him with 17 seconds remaining in the first period. Wilson back up to his feet now. And it looks like he will skate off the ice. 17 seconds remaining in the period. Seems like a good call there. While we have some time here, let's talk about what's happened here in this first period. End-to-end action, as you've been able to see and hear. Goaltending has been phenomenal. Jensen for Northeastern, Karlitz for DU, really standing on their heads early in this contest. There's a reason why this game is 0-0. A couple of good scoring opportunities for DU. The problem so far in this contest is they just haven't hit the net with any of those chances. Got to be a little bit more on the mark to beat Jensen. As I said, came into this game with a 3.40 goals allowed average. As Moen will spin with the puck in his own zone, play it up into the neutral zone, glove down by Northeastern. They'll play it up to Larkin. Larkin, quick shot fielded by Moen, and that's going to do it for the first period of action here. There's a big hit laid by Larkin, and now a couple of guys are doing some pushing and shoving here as the period has expired. The energy is off the charts. Enjoy Burns Arena tonight. Stick around with us for the second period. Got a feeling it's going to be just as good as the first. You're watching the Big Mountain Classic. It's DU versus Northeastern on Price Productions. Welcome back to Joy Burns Arena. Second period of action set to begin between the DU Pioneers and the Northeastern Huskies. Before we get to the action, we do want to mention one of our proudest partners that we have, and it's one of the most long-standing partnerships that the Big Mountain Hockey Conference and the Big Mountain Classic have, and that is with the Broad to Reality Foundation, honoring the life and legacy of one of our own, Nick Bales. Nick created an apparel brand called BTR as a way of combating the challenges of mental health awareness. Will and Maria Bales turned BTR into a foundation, and through December of 2025 have provided over 2,084 counseling sessions and contributed over $176,000 to those who cannot afford it, with over 170 plus student athletes supporting BTR by branding the green ribbon on their helmets. If you wish to learn more about the Brought to Reality Foundation, visit their website at www.broughttoreality.com. As a part of this incredible weekend that is the Big Mountain Classic, Will and Maria Bales will be visiting with each and every single one of the participating teams to tell Nick's story and to reiterate that mental health awareness is one of the most important things that we can continue to talk about. So once again, I'm going to read the website one more time, and we'll also bring this back up at the end of the second period before the third period. If you would love to learn more about the Broad to Reality Foundation, visit their website at www.broughttoreality.com. So the teams are set to return to the ice, and the action was, let's just call it, unbelievable in the first period. End-to-end action, and the only thing we didn't see in that first period was a goal. Both goaltenders really playing well. For DU, it's the guy everybody knows and loves. It's Jackson Carlitz. For the Huskies, it's Steve Jensen, who is really playing unbelievably well. DU had a couple of opportunities in that first period, just weren't able to get the puck on net. They're going to have to do a little bit better in this period to get by a Northeastern team that is synonymous with St. Louis in the national tournament. A place that DU is not just looking for, but truly believes they will be when the season is all said and done. So the teams are back on the ice, and we are nearly set for the second period of action. Just to reintroduce myself, hello everybody, I'm Ben Canvasser for Price Productions, one of the best Price Productions crew that is thrilled to call Joy Burns Arena home for this season. We've seen some incredible hockey over the last month or so with this DU team, currently on a 4-game winning streak. But they're playing against a Northeastern team that's playing really well too. Coming into this contest with a win on January 11th, or 11th against Roger Williams as we're underway here in the second period. Seebeck will chase that puck down. He's got to deal with Elbury. Comes back onto the neutral zone, tapped away by Navarro, and now Seebeck will get it first. Comes back to Moen, slides it over to Navarro. Navarro looking to play into the middle for Van Arum. Van Arum brings the puck in front of the net, plays it over to the left side, and just too hot of a pass for Seebeck to handle. Puck is still loose in front of the DUN, and now it finally comes out to Larkin. Larkin fires it back to Lundmark. Lundmark goes in and chases in after it. A couple of players go down to the ice, no calls there, only one penalty called in the first period, which went against DU. Elberly throws it in. Navarro plays it back to the outside for Simon, who dumps it in. Comes right to Van Arum, who throws a bit of an elbow. No call there. Puck in the slot for Seebeck. Takes it around the net. Drops it back to Changwalker at the blue line. His shot redirects high and back into the near side corner. And that puck will be played out of play, so we will get a stoppage here with 18:43 remaining. So an offensive zone face-off coming here to the left of Steve Jensen. Face-off won by DU. Here's Brophy. His shot sails high and wide. There's another opportunity and a good diving save by Jensen. Puck comes up to Donlon. Loses it in their own zone. And that puck will be played back into the DUN. Chain Walkers are going to have to skate hard to negate the icing, but it's already negated regardless. Puck loose in front of the net. Karlitz can't see it. Here's an opportunity for Northeastern, and it's taken away by Mirovic. Left side for Patrick. Brings the puck into the zone, fires a shot, scores! Nolan Patrick, first goal of the game, goes to the Pioneers. Little silky wrist shot by Nolan Patrick in the slot, stunning Steve Jensen. Jensen stood up to try to make the play. Puck never left the ice. And it's Nolan Patrick who strikes first for the Pioneers. Let's see how Northeastern responds. Puck still in the DU zone. Chopped at by Blake Bazin into the skates of Colston Bazin. Slap shot, Romberger, saved by Karlitz. Romberger shot again. This time it just sails high over the shoulder of Jackson Karlitz. Chop pass played out into the Northeastern zone. Colston Bazin has it. Slides a shot that just goes safely by Jensen. Back to the blue line for Changwalker. Vena keeps it in, fires it around the net. And it'll be taken by Will Romberger. Kept in by Vena. He fires a shot towards the net. Bazin tries to play it back in front of the net as Jensen slow to get back up to his feet. And that puck will go down for an icing. So offensive zone draw coming here for the Pioneers. It's Triplet, Palomino, and Anand. Face-off won by DU. Comes out to Vena. Good block shot there by Hudson Small, who gets driven into the boards by Vena. Northeastern has it now. It's Small with the puck. Fires a shot that ricochets wide around the net. Northeastern unable to keep that puck in the zone. Sell, buy, trade, and win. You may never outgrow your favorite sports, but you may outgrow your equipment. Your locally owned Play It Again Sports provides an easy way to sell your quality used sports and fitness gear. Get paid on the spot. To learn more about your nearest Play It Again Sports location, visit playitagainsports.com/location. Here's an opportunity for Northeastern, and that puck is sent out of play. Shots so far in this period, 3 in favor of Northeastern, 2 to the Pioneers, but only one of those mattered, and it was the shot by Nolan Patrick that put the Pios up 1-0 early in the second period. They'll work in their defensive zone. Loose puck along the near side boards. Now it finally comes out. Simon unable to get there first. Comes back to Malvar. He's ridden into the boards by Navarro. Puck comes out to Veens. And that puck will sail out of the DUN. Here's Elbury with it. Walks in, looks to get a shot off. Now it's to Malvar. He whiffs on a shot. Puck loose in front of the net. And now it goes to the near side corner. Check that far side corner. There's a wrist shot in on goal. And it's gloved down by Jackson Karlitz. So not much of the play has changed from the first period on to the second period. The only difference is the goal by Nolan Patrick, but Northeastern still applying a lot of the same pressure we saw in the first period on Carlitz. Face-off won and controlled by Northeastern. There's a shot from the point that ricochets and bounces behind the net. In the corner with it is Putram. Back to the blue line. Foster's shot. Takes a deflection in front of the net and is loose. And Brophy shovels it over to Patrick. Patrick in the slot to Mirovic. He loses the puck and escapes, and Elbury's got it now for Northeastern. Plays it up ahead to Larkin. Moen does a good job to get back on defense to stop that rush. Now it's Putram back to Elbury. Launches it in. Larkin will chase in after it. Puck comes back out to the neutral zone. Patrick plays it over to Mirovic. Over to Brophy. He gets checked by Elbury. He has to deal with George Foster, who wins that battle. Puck behind the net now for DU. Elbury throws a shoulder into Brophy. And now here's Larkin. He loses the puck, and it will bounce back out to the neutral zone where Navarro will field it. Shoots it over to Chang Walker, back to Navarro. He stumbles in his own zone. Puck played into the neutral zone. Putram retreats to grab it for the Huskies. Slides it over to Elbury. Long shift here for Eric Elbury, 6'2" defenseman from Pelham, New York. Here's Larkin, brings the puck in on goal. And Carlitz up to the task there. Blake Bazin gets drilled. Puck comes back to Chang Walker, slides it over for Navarro. He plays it up to Colston Bazin, who chips it back into the Northeastern zone. Bjorndal gathers the puck, fires it on goal, and a last-second save there by Steve Jensen, robbing them of the goal. Donalo plays it up, and Carlitz will cover it up with 13:48 remaining in the first period. Long Building Technologies engineers secure services and automates systems in commercial buildings. Our service offerings include HVAC equipment, building automation, security solutions, HVAC services, and parts. And trust me, there's more. We are headquartered out of Colorado and have additional offices all over the United States. To learn more about Long Technology or Building Technologies, visit their website, www.long.com. Taken behind the net by Donalon. He has it again for the Huskies, comes back out to the blue line. There's a wrist shot that sails high over the net of Carlitz. Donalon, big hit laid there into Gardner. Back behind the net for Cunningham. He has it now. Gardner lays the big hit that time onto Donalon. Puck still loose behind the net. Slides it over to Singman, and he's able to chip it out of the DUN, and retreating for it is Nathan Baer. He fires it up to the red line, taken back by Chang Walker. Anand can't get it. Here comes Baer. He's got a head full of steam, brings the puck into the zone. There's an opportunity, and what an unbelievable save by Jackson Carlitz, robbing him with the fat end of the stick, and we're going to get a stoppage of play, and now here come the fisticuffs. Jackson Carlitz was beat. There's no other way to say it, and at the last second reached that big stick across the net and knocked it down. What an unbelievable save by the team president. So for all that effort, Northeastern will be rewarded with an offensive zone faceoff just to the left of Carlitz. Huskies win the draw. Puck into the corner. It's taken by Phillips. Brings the puck in front of the net. Puck still loose. And now it's finally able to be cleared by DU. Here comes Willem Van Arm. Brings the puck into the zone. Spins with it. He's got Seebeck calling for it along the far side. Seebeck fires a slap shot. Doesn't make it to the net. And that puck will be played back out to the neutral zone and fielded by Zach Ben. Up into the neutral zone. Van Arm will chip it into the Northeastern end, and we will get an icing call here with 12 minutes remaining. Northeastern now up to 7 shots in this second period, but haven't been able to get one past Carlitz as there's a big hit late in the far side corner. Puck still loose. Here's another opportunity and another good save by Carlitz. Out to the blue line, kept in by Hopkins, but only for a second, as Falk will have to turn it back over to Seebeck. Plays into the middle for Van Arm. Van Arm stood up at the blue line by Falk. What a big hit. You can feel that. Here's Van Arm with another chance. He scores! Off the ice and onto the score sheet. Willem Van Arm, a goal-scoring machine, has put the Pioneers up 2-0 in the second period. Talk about intensity. Van Arm was rocked at the blue line closest to us, got up off the ice and fired a beauty past Steve Jensen. Huskies have the puck in their offensive zone. There's a big hit late in the corner. Bjorndal plays it over to Colston Bazin. Flips it up back to Bjorndal. He's going to have to work against O'Connell. And Bjorndal taken down to the ice hard. No call there. Puck still loose behind the net, and now it's finally taken back by Northeastern. A lot of physicality here as it's ratcheting up. Here comes Larkin. In on goal. Drive to the front of the net. We have a penalty upcoming here to DU. It's going to be hooking. Here's O'Connell in the slot. Scores! Just like that, Jack O'Connell brings this back to a 1-goal game. And it's 2-1 now, Pioneers. The play all began by the brilliance of Nick Larkin, who made his way to the front of the net. He got hooked but kept going and was able to turn around and find his guy in the slot. And the Huskies are right back in it. It's 2-1. Face-off won by the Huskies. Donelon throws it back into the DUN. Gardner will play it behind the net. Fires it out to the blue line. Kept in by Foster. Bears got it now. Turns and fires towards the front of the net. Nobody there. Kept in again by Foster. And that shot is blocked by Brophy. He breaks free now into the Northeastern zone. Can't get the shot off. Still has it. Throws it in front of the net. Takes a deflection. And Mirovic is cross-checked in the back. And no call there. That's going to be an icing, though, coming up against Northeastern. A lot of hitting on both sides of the ice. But no calls for roughing yet in this contest. Offensive zone face-off here for the Pioneers. Won by the Huskies. Back to the blue line. Gardner fires a shot wide of the net of Jensen. Back the other way comes Northeastern. Puck loose and Bears skate. Plays it up to Donlon. Fires it far side for Cunningham. His shot goes wide of the net. Elbury keeps it in at the blue line. Plays it behind the net. Gardner's got it. Patrick plays it up ahead. Brophy now takes it. And he'll look to dump a change here. Doesn't get off far enough as that puck takes a deflection off of somebody in the DU bench, so they'll have a face-off upcoming here just outside of the zone. Face-off, won by nobody at the moment. Puck squirts free into the near side corner, triplet in after it. Puck comes back to Vena. He'll fire a wrist shot that takes a deflection off a small stick. Now here's a potential opportunity for Northeastern. Small brings the puck into the zone. He stood up by Vena. But here comes Phillips. He follows away up. No call on the ice. Northeastern bench is adamant about something. Phillips lays a big hit. And now the Northeastern bench. It's gone from jeers to cheers. Larkin lays a big hit. Physicality ratcheting up on every end. Here's an opportunity for Northeastern as Putram's shot is saved by Karlitz. Putram turns with the puck, sends it back into the DU zone. Triplett plays it out to the middle for Palomino. Palomino will fire it in. Glove down by Romberger. Should be a hand pass, no call there. Lundmark knocked off the puck by Ben, and then Lundmark goes to the ground holding Ben's stick. Here comes Simon back the other way. He stood up at the blue line, comes back to Seebeck. Late man arriving, it's Van Arm. Van Arm loses the puck to Putram. Here comes Cunningham with it for Northeastern. Drops it off to Putram. There's a shot saved by Karlitz. Puck loose in front of the net. They score! Northeastern has tied it with 7:57 to go in the second. And it's Brent Donlon, the 5'9" forward from Pittsford, New York, who's tied it up. Credit Putram for a lot of that. Doing the dirty work, getting the puck in the zone, but Donlon found himself in the right place at the right time. And like we always say in hockey, you can't score unless you get pucks on goal. And this game is flipped on its head. All the momentum was going to the Pioneers. Now it's flipped back in favor of the Huskies. 7:47 remaining in the second period, and we are all tied up. Here comes Navarro, brings the puck in on the zone, fires a shot that just goes wide of the net of Jensen. Here comes Bear. He's got a lot of speed. Moen goes crashing down to the ice. And Bear, nifty puck work, plays it back to Martinez off the skate of Bear behind the net. Puck still loose and now finally taken by Blake Bazin, who plays it along the far side for Colson Bazin, but it's knocked down and kept in by Martinez. Puck still behind the net. Wraparound opportunity saved there by Karlitz. Kept in by Phillips. He has the puck now. Works his way to the front of the net. And Karlitz covers it up. He doesn't know where the puck is, but we get a stoppage to play with 6:56 remaining. Knowledge is the Sagian way. Our name comes from the Latin word for those who know or perceive quickly. We get to know our clients deeply and provide personally tailored financial guidance for a fast-changing world. To learn more about how Sagian Financial Services can help you and your family, visit www.sagianfs.com. Offensive zone draw here for the Huskies to the right of Karlitz. Face-off won by DU. Albury has the puck now in the neutral zone. He'll whip it back in for the Huskies. Shane Walker, first one to the puck. Phillips doing some dirty work down there for Northeastern. Here's a turnover and a shot and a save by Karlitz. Puck still loose. And it squirts free here to Gardner, but we're going to get a penalty upcoming here. We're going to get interference, and this is going to go against Chris Brophy. You want to talk about how this game has turned on its head. 15 shots in the second period for Northeastern to 4 from DU. And a lot of that work is being done in the offensive zone. And that's how Northeastern has changed this game. They flipped the script. There's a shot. This puck, they score! 3 unanswered! Northeastern leads 9 seconds into the man advantage. And it's number 77, Zach Phillips, who will be credited with the goal. What has happened here to the Pioneers? In a matter of just under 10 minutes, a 2-goal lead has evaporated, and now we find ourselves in a 1-goal hole. All credit to Northeastern. They have come out to play since that second goal by Van Arm went in. And they've earned this 3-2 lead with 6:22 remaining in the second period. Elbury has it. Sent back in by Colston Bazin. Foster will play the puck behind the Northeastern net. Putcham will play it back far side for Elbury. Flips it up to the blue line. Vena keeps it in. Back to Elbury behind the net. He'll cycle it back to Foster. Flips it up ahead for Lundmark. He's drilled into the boards. And now the puck squirts free. And coming back with it is Elbury. He's taken down to the ice. Ben will fire it off the glass and it'll go back to Foster in the Northeastern zone. Chipped in by Vena. Bazin's got it. Leaves it for Bjorndal. Bjorndal walks in. Slides it back for Colston Bazin just too far. Puck thrown in front of the net, and now Jensen will cover it up. Puck still loose, actually. There's a wraparound opportunity. The puck is loose in the slot, and away with it comes Bear. Nathan Bear for Northeastern. Walks into the zone, fires his shot. Safely navigated to the near side corner. Falk has it. Plays it back to Cunningham. Chips it back into the DU zone, but only slightly as Vena's able to turn and fire it back into the Northeastern end. Vena plays it up ahead to Simon. Simon back to Seebeck. Fires a shot, takes a deflection, doesn't even get to the net. Van Arm chopped down in front of the net. Seebeck has it now. Plays it back to the blue line, and that shot whiffed on, and now here's a potential opportunity for Northeastern as Melvar is the first one into the zone. Play back to the blue line. Wilson can't get the shot off. Seebeck loses the puck in the slot, and now Seebeck has it again. Will play it up to Van Arm, who will chip it forward, and now Simon will go in after it. Here comes Leonard. He's got a lot of speed. He's trying to make his way out of the zone. He's chopped down by Tommy Moen. Now here's an opportunity, but we got some gas legs out here for DU as Simon overskates the pass, and Seabrook has to send it back into the Northeastern zone. Jensen will cover it up with 4:10 remaining. Offensive zone face-off here for DU. Mirovic wins the draw. Plays it forward. Puck behind the net. Small. Looking to play it forward. Big hit laid there by Chris Brophy, but it springs Zach Phillips. Here's Mirovic. Turn back over. It's Phillips again. He's chopped down to the blue line. Still going. What a motor on that kid. Fires a shot. What a save there by Jackson Carlitz, flashing the leather, deflecting into the near side corner. Goes back into the far side corner where Gardner's unable to control the puck. Stolen back, here's Larkin freaking out in front of the net. Puck still loose, Carlitz doesn't know where it is, and now he'll cover it up with 3:33 remaining. While they work out the scuffle that's going on in front of the net, let's take a moment to appreciate New York Life, your future built with confidence. Financial decisions are easier with a partner by your side. New York Life's agents and advisors take the time to understand your goals and dreams so you could build the future you imagine. For more info, visit www.newyorklife.com. So after the play, the result in a offensive zone faceoff for Northeastern. Elberly keeps it in. Here's Larkin, slides it over to Foster. Foster plays it over to Putcham. Spins with it. Plays it back for Lundmark. Puck comes back out to the neutral zone. Sent back into the DUN, and Triplett will start the breakout. Looking forward for Sigmund, just too far. Elberly steps in front and intercepts that pass. Ben plays it off the boards. Putcham calls for it and just drifts off sides with 2:52 remaining in the second period. This score was 0-0 after one. We've had 5 combined goals in this second period of action and a combined 24 shots on goal, 18 of which by the team in black from Boston, Northeastern. Face-off just outside of the Northeastern zone, just in front of us, parallel with us, in fact, as the face-off is won by the Huskies. Romberger's got it. He'll fire it into the DU end. Puck barely stayed in play. Behind the net, Zach Ben ran into there by Donlon. A couple of players holding on to each other in the far side corner. Romberger will fire a shot, redirects into the far side, or the near side corner. Bears got it. He's taken off his feet. And that puck will be sent back into the Northeastern end, and we will have an icing here with 2:22 remaining in the second. And Blake Bazin a little slow getting up from after that play. Looks like he'll remain on the ice as the coaching staff looks on. Offensive zone faceoff coming here for the Huskies. Cunningham digs in for Northeastern. DU wins the draw. Bear keeps it in. Only for a second. Here comes Blake Bazin, slides it over to Colston Bazin. Colston Bazin hit hard into the boards. Good hit there by Falk. Comes back out to the blue line. Bear can't get his stick on the puck, so it comes back into the DU end. Donlon gets laid into by Bazin. Shot goes in, and Karlitz will play it over to Vena. Puck redirects off the stick of Bjorndal into the Northeastern end. Both teams will go off for a change here. Stolen by Van Arum. He's turned around, sends the puck back into the DU end. He's the first one to win that battle, but loses the puck. Thrown in front of the net. Phillips trying to get a shot off, unable to. Spinning with it behind Karlitz's net. Looking for Small, finds Romberger instead. His shot sails high over the net. And Bazin the first one to get there. Here's a potential opportunity for Willem Van Arm. He's got to go 1-on-2 though. Puts on the brakes, spins, and falls down to the ice. And now back the other way, nearly a 2-on-1 opportunity. Good job there by Moen to get a stick in there at the last second. Puck played off the glass, back to Romberger. He's checked hard by Mirovic at center ice. And now the puck comes out to Ryan Simon. Simon taken down to the ice. Nearly so is Seebeck. Here's Larkin. He's got a lot of speed. Putcham crashing to the net. Navarro does a good job to get in front of that pass. Late arriving player there is Elbery. And now we have an offsides coming up here with 39 seconds remaining in the second period. Larkin versus Mirovic here on the face-off. Advantage Larkin as he wins the draw. Puck sent back into the DU end. Taken by Moen behind the net. Plays it up ahead to Patrick. His pass just a little too hot as Larkin goes crashing down to the ice. 22 seconds remaining here in this action-packed second period. Navarro retreats, gathers the puck, cycles it back to Moen, plays it in the middle for Patrick. One more opportunity here for DU as Patrick avoids not one but two hits, plays it over for Mirovic, but the pass just too far. Here's Bear, 4 seconds remaining in the period, wrist shot, good save again by Karlitz, and that's going to do it for the second period. You asked for goals, you got goals. 3 for Northeastern, 2 for DU. We will be back for the exciting conclusion between DU and Northeastern after a quick 12-minute break. Stick around, you're watching the Big Mountain Classic on Price Productions.
I might have my score sheet confused. It's very possible that Wesley Amos was the one who scored that goal in the first period. We'll have to check on the replay after this. One-timer deflected. GCU keeps it in. Little collision in the corner. GCU comes away. Wyoming's on him like white on rice, or white on the ice. And it's deflected into the nets. And we'll have a stoppage and play again. Hockey is about vision, discipline, and playing the long game. And so is your financial future. At Sagent, we help advisors and clients build smarter strategies for what's next. Experience wisdom, integrity, and innovation at work. Learn more at www.sagientfs.com. Sagent is proud to sponsor the ACHA athletes participating in the Big Mountain Classic Showcase. Face-off brings the puck back to the GCU, but they'll dump it right back in. 1-on-2, one man to beat. And he just is wide of the net. Great scoring opportunity by 86, Chase LeRiviere. Could have doubled up his scoring opportunities, but goes just wide. GCU looking to reset.
Welcome back to Joy Burns Arena on this lovely, freezing Friday night in the Denver metropolitan area. 2 minutes remaining before we were set to kick off what should be an incredibly exciting third period between the Northeastern Huskies and the University of Denver Pioneers. Before we do so, we want to mention one more time on this broadcast the Brought to Reality Foundation, honoring the life and legacy of one of our own, Nick Bales. Nick created an apparel brand called BTR as a way of combating the challenges of mental health awareness. Will and Maria Bales turned BTR into a foundation, and through December 2025 have provided over 2,084 counseling sessions and contributed over $176,000 to those who cannot afford it, with over 170 plus student athletes wearing the green ribbon representing the Brought to Reality Foundation on their helmet. This cause has been championed by the Bales family, and it's been a wonderful partnership with the Big Mountain Conference and the Big Mountain Classic. So as the teams are ready to take the ice here for the third period, a staggering stat that I've been handed here: 21 shots on goal for Northeastern in that second period, really turning up the pressure on the Denver Pioneers and scoring the final 3 goals in that third period after falling behind relatively quickly in that second period, 2-0. They were getting it done on all fronts and really doing an incredible job of attacking Jackson Carlitz and forcing him to cover up the puck. A lot of second chance opportunities. The reason why Northeastern was able to put 3 past DU in that second period. I believe we were actually waiting for the officials, as I've just noticed that there's 5 seconds remaining on the clock before we're supposed to drop the puck in the third period. I see no stripes right now. So the nets are still hanging up against the boards. Now the officials make their way out of the dressing room and onto the ice. So there'll be a little warm-up period. But let's take a look at what is ahead for both of these teams going forward. For the Pioneers, this is their second game in the Big Mountain Classic. Tomorrow night, they'll be back here at Joy Burns Arena. It's senior night for the DU Pioneers as they will take on the Utah Utes, who absolutely dismantled Providence College this morning in Westminster by the final score of 9-3. You talk about how great of a matchup this one is. That one is set to be just as good, if not better, than tonight's game. That game will be streamed 8:15 p.m. local time here in Denver on Price Productions YouTube channel. And then the Pioneers will wrap up their 2026 Big Mountain Classic campaign Sunday back here at Joy Burns Arena. Game time 7:30 p.m. as they will take on the Bowling Green State Falcons. Taking a look at the other side of the ice for the Northeastern Huskies, this their first game of the Big Mountain Classic. They still have 3 games to go. They'll be at the Promenade in Westminster tomorrow, 5 p.m. against Metro State University, where they're going to have to deal with 2024-2025 Player of the Year Jackson Tillinghast in that contest. Sunday, they will be up in Greeley as they take on Cal Berkeley, who's in action tonight in Westminster. Cal Berkeley, the only team on the season to hand Weber State a loss so far. And then finally, speaking of the Weber State Wildcats, Northeastern will be in Greeley 8:45 a.m. local time, taking on the Weber State Wildcats. You can catch those last 2 games on the Big Mountain Hockey Conference's YouTube channel. We are underway here in the third period. Northeastern leads DU 3-0 as Tommy Moen fires the puck back into the Northeastern end. Albury fires it back into the DU end. Carlitz will have to play it, so no icing there. He whips it out into the neutral zone. Simon, turning on his edges, unable to get up to that puck, and now it's taken by Putram back into the Northeastern zone. He'll shovel it over to Albury. A couple of Northeastern players collide there as it comes out to Simon. He can't get the puck deep. Maybe Van Arm can. And here comes Willem Van Arm, very strong on the puck. As it comes loose into the corner, he has to deal with Foster. Comes out to the blue line. Here's Moen, fires a wrist shot. And the puck is still loose and finally covered up by Steve Jensen, who after giving up 2 goals early on in this early on in the second period has really rebounded great. And we mentioned it early on in the broadcast, actually. This is the area of the game Northeastern loves to live in. I don't know if they love to live in it, but they're darn good at it. 8 wins on the season so far, or 8 one-goal game wins. Let me actually rephrase that. They've won 8 times this season in games decided by 1 goal. That's the way you actually want to say it. So right now they're living in that realm as the puck is stuck in their own zone. Brophy shot, gloved down by Jensen, and he will cover it up with 18:52 remaining in the third period. The last 2 minutes of that third period got real physical between these two teams. You wonder if that intensity will begin to ratchet up here as the third progresses. Nolan Patrick lays a hit. Gardner does a good job to keep it in, but only for a second as Northeastern is trying to get the puck back out to the neutral zone. Gardner has it again, and he will send it back into the Northeastern zone. Chasing it after it for the Huskies is Malvar. Played up ahead, taken by Bear. Slides over for Phillips. He'll fire a wrist shot that goes wide, and now Martinez will play it with the puck in the neutral zone. Slides it over to O'Connell. He'll send it back in for the Huskies. Phillips the first one to get there in the corner. Batted away by Changwalker. Back to Bear, fires a shot in the middle. Nobody there. Here's O'Connell. He loses the puck. Nifty move by Blake Bazin. He's got Brophy with him. Bazin fires a shot. Easy save by Jensen. And then a big hit. Oh, it's a goal! Jensen must not have had it with him. The puck ends up behind him. And what a goal by Blake Bazin. We are all tied up. Jensen had no idea where the puck was. Turned around with it and just dropped it into the net. So a gift here for the Pioneers and a gift for all of us because there's 18 minutes remaining in the third and we are all tied up. Face-off control by the Pioneers. Moen swings it over to Navarro, chips it up to Bazin, who fires it back in, and now Bjorndal will go in after it. Blake Bazin down there as well, comes out to Vena. He fires a shot, takes a deflection. Nearly another goal by Bazin. Puttram has it now. Brings it into the DU end. Comes back down and Bjorndal, check that, Colston Bazin stood up at the blue line. Here's Moen with it now. Tommy Moen walks in the zone. Sigmund can't get the shot off, but he'll go in after the puck. Sends it over to James Triplett. 6 players, nobody can get the puck loose, and finally it does come loose to Foster. Northeastern having some trouble getting the puck out of their own zone. It's Foster along the near side boards, plays it up, taken by Garner, swings it over to Navarro, plays it up to Sigmund, back to Elbury. He has to work with Palomino. Back to Garner, slides it over, looking for Changwalker just out in front of him, so it's Palomino who has it. He'll play it back into the Northeastern zone. Quick pass near side, looking for Leonard. Leonard's got a lot of speed, brings it in on goal. Can't get the shot off. Good back checking pressure there by DU. And now Changwalker buries Leonard into the ground. Both players losing one item that they went into that scrap with. Puck played into the middle just too far, and now it comes out to Van Arum, who will have to play it forward. Here's Willem Van Arm. A lot of moves, but he trips over the blue line, and the puck will be back towards Elbury. There's a big hit laid. Turned over. Gardner fires a wrist shot, and that's a save by Jensen. Back to Van Arum. He loses the puck. Chipping in there is Navarro. Does a good job. Here's Van Arum. His shot saved by Jensen again. Chopped at and sent in by Donlon. Played behind the net by Karlitz. Played along the near side board. Simon does a good job to get that puck all the way down to the Northeastern zone. And back the other way comes Cunningham. Fires it over, looking for Bear. That's going to be an icing with 15:26 remaining. Ordering jerseys used to be a nightmare, not anymore. Custom fit, pro quality, delivered in 4 weeks or less. If you've ever dealt with late orders, cheap material, or gear that looked nothing like the mock-up, you probably didn't use Thread to Needle. To learn more, visit www.threadtoneedle.com. Face-off won by the Pioneers. Chipping in there is Brophy. He can't keep the puck in the zone. Here comes Bear. Play onside. Bear brings the puck into the zone. Kicked away by Karlitz. Back at the blue line for O'Connell. He turns it over. Here's Mirovic. He gets shoved down to the blue line, and back the other way comes Brophy, but only for a second. He's driven hard into the boards. Anand throwing his body weight around, and finally Vane is able to send it back into the Northeastern end. Here's Cunningham for Northeastern. Avoids a hit, but so did Bear, and his avoidance of that hit brought him into an offsides position, so the faceoff will come outside the DU end. Faceoff won by the Huskies, sent in by Elbury. Karlitz will glove it down, and we're going to stop at a play. The Colorado Media School is an American private institution that instructs students in all areas of the broadcast media industry. It is a comprehensive hands-on program where students are trained by broadcast media professionals currently working in the field. To learn more, visit www.beonair.com. Offensive zone draw won quickly by the Pioneers. Played back by Blake Bazin. Nobody there. It's Phillips for Northeastern. Fires it down in the corner. There's a big hit laid by Blake Bazin. Phillips, the first one to win that battle. Bjorndal is going to be called for a slashing penalty here, and to make matters worse, he's going to have to go to Pirani's or Play It Again Sports to buy himself a new stick. So Bjorndal will go to the box to serve a 2-minute minor for slashing, and in the process, he loses his own stick. I just realized I may have just regionalized myself there by mentioning Pirani's Hockey World. If you're from Michigan, you know what I'm talking about. So Northeastern will go on a man advantage here for 2 minutes. Bjorndal gets an extra stick in the penalty box. It's Larkin out there with Phillips and Puttram. On the back end, it's Falk and Foster. And we have a stoppage and play here as one of the officials is still over at each of the benches. So while we get a second here, let's take a look at Long Building Technologies. Engineer secures services and automates systems in commercial buildings. Our service offerings include HVAC equipment, building automation, security solutions, HVAC services, and parts. We are headquartered out of Colorado and have additional offices in Alaska, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming. Our mission is to deliver innovative building solutions and positively impact every person our business touches. To learn more, visit www.long.com. So I believe the stoppage of play was to get a member of the training staff over to the Northeastern bench as that puck is played into the ceiling, and it comes back down, so the faceoff will remain in the DU zone. Larkin digs in for the Huskies. Face-off won by the Pioneers. Phillips, the first one to the puck. He has it, and now the Huskies will try to set up the power play here. Puck squirts free into the neutral zone. Northeastern will have to retreat. Foster has it. Far side for Falk. Behind the net for Phillips. Back to Larkin. Good stick there by Seebeck, and the puck will come back out into the neutral zone, and Northeastern will have to regather. Here comes Phillips. He has Putram in the slot. Putram shot, redirects, loose in front, and Larkin can't get the shot off. Now the puck goes into the far side corner. Good job there by Shane Sigmund. Comes loose. Here's Foster in the slot, and a great block by Seebeck. Couple of players go down with a knee collision. It's maybe the third or fourth time we've seen one of those plays in this game. Here's Larkin now looking to play in the slot. Puck still loose. And Northeastern couldn't get the shot off. That slap shot goes wide of Karlitz's net. Here's Larkin with it now. Fires a shot. Karlitz will cover it up, but only a second. Puck was still loose. Far side official couldn't see it. So we'll get a stoppage of play with 38 seconds remaining in the man advantage. 12:55 remaining in this tied third period between DU and Northeastern. Face-off coming to the left side of Karlitz. Digging in there for DU is Jimmy Triplett. Face-off won by Northeastern. Donlon's shot is sent high and over the net. Good job there by Elbury to keep the puck in for Northeastern. Donlon plays it into the corner. Back to Elbury. Slides it over for Bear. Walks in, fires a slap shot. Good deflection there by Zach Ben. Far side for Small. And that puck will be sent back out to the neutral zone. 10 seconds remaining on the Bjorndal minor. Bear walks in, spins with it. Albury's got it. Fires a shot, takes a deflection in front of the net. 3 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Puck back to Bear. Slides it over. Walks in. Backhanded shot. Puck still loose. Back to 5-on-5 action with 12 minutes remaining in the third period. Taken out to the neutral zone. Stepping up there is Martinez. He'll play it along the far side. He stands up Jimmy Tripley, and then Iverson steps over him. Near or far side boards for Seebeck. Played up ahead for Larkin. Larkin avoids the hit from Van Arum. Here's Lundmark. Fires a shot, takes a deflection off the pads of Changwalker. Back to Lundmark. At the blue line for O'Connell. Plays it back for Martinez, but nobody's there, and back the other way comes Seebeck. He's working with Simon. It's 2-on-3. Seebeck driven into the boards, and now Larkin will spin with the puck in his own zone. Played up along the far side boards for Lundmark. Can't find him. Chainwalker's shot. Redirects wide of the net. Here comes Larkin. Walks in. Fires a shot. Karlitz saves, but the rebound is still loose. A couple players go down to the ice. And now DU will break out. Here's Brophy. Back to Northeastern. Bear loses the puck. The puck never made it out of the zone, so no offsides there. Stuck in the skates there, the linesman. Chipped up ahead, looking for Brophy. Couple of players go crashing down to the ice. It's pandemonium here as somebody is looking to get the edge here in this all tied up third period. Cunningham looking to play into the middle. He gets hit by Brophy. Puck squirts free back into the neutral zone. Played by Foster. He gets hit by Mirovic. And now Changwalker loses the battle to Donlon, who with one hand is trying to force his way in front of the net. Cunningham is wide open in front for Northeastern. Here's the opportunity. The backhander by Bear is saved by Karlitz. Back to the blue line for Foster. He's stood up by Nolan Patrick. Mirovic will flip it back into the neutral zone. Glove down by Bear. He keeps the puck into the zone. Bear's got it. Looking far side. There's a shot. Karlitz pad save. Back to the blue line. Elberly fires a shot. Takes a deflection. Another good save by Karlitz. Diving play there by Gardner helps and assists as DU gets the puck back out to the neutral zone. Brophy is gassed. He can't get off the ice. Here's Elberly's shot. Saved by Karlitz again. Brophy really struggling out there. Now he's finally able to get off the ice making his way to the DU bench very gingerly as DU finally gets a change. Here's the Huskies very quickly back into the DU zone. Puck loose. Phillips shot. Saved by Karlitz. Wraparound opportunity. There's a great play by Colston Bazin as there's a player down in front of the DU net. It's one of the Northeastern players. It's Small on his knees looking to take the leading goal as Ben got a stick into the midsection there. He's hunched over. We haven't had a stoppage of play in what feels like forever. Blake Bazin diving for that puck. It comes back out to Phillips. Phillips will play it, and he's hit hard by Vena. Lundmark now has it behind the net for Northeastern. Plays it up for Larkin. Larkin fires a shot. Karlitz can't cover it up, so the play is still alive here. Back to the blue line. There's a shot, and finally that puck will sail out of play with 8:42 remaining in the third period. Deep breaths, everybody, while we have a second here. Want to tell you that if whether or not you want to sell, buy, trade, you win when you go with Play It Again Sports. You may never outgrow your favorite sports, but you may outgrow your equipment. Your locally owned Play It Again Sports provides an easy way to sell your quality used sports or fitness equipment. To find your nearest Play It Again Sports, visit www.playitagainsports.com/locations. Puck in the neutral zone. Comes back to O'Connell. Northeastern nearly played offsides there, so O'Connell will spin it back. Play the puck along the far side to Donlon, who will send it back into the DU end. Taken by Moen. He'll slow things down and then send it back into the Northeastern end. Singman the first one to get there. It comes back to Cunningham. Plays it up for Bear. Bear with a head full of speed. Slips. And then Van Arum will play it back into the Northeastern end. Here's Cunningham. He's driven hard into the boards by Moen. Van Arum plays it back to Gardner. Gardner far side for Seebeck. Seebeck back into the DU zone. Now will work his way through the neutral zone. Back to Gardner. Gardner walks into the zone, fires a shot. Saved there by Jensen. Puck played high into the air. Checks up. Bear will win that battle, but only for a second. There goes Changwalker. He's got a lot of speed, and he's got Simon with him. Simon in the slot, and the pass just behind him. So the puck will go all the way back into the DU end. Ben quickly turns and fires it back into the Northeastern end. And now Foster will play it around for Phillips. Here's Phillips with the puck. He's got a lot of room. His shot from a tough angle sails high and away. Phillips has it again behind the net. Here's an opportunity as the puck is in the slot. Turned back over, and now here comes Simon. He'll play it into the Northeastern zone and chase in after it. Simon has it. He's got Mirovic in the slot. And stepping in the middle of the passing lane there was Elbury. Here's Puttram. He'll play into the far side corner. Here's a quick shot and a good stop there by Ben. Vena driving Larkin into the boards. Puttram has it now. Cycles it back to Larkin. Back to the blue line. Here's a wrist shot and another good save from Karlitz. Don't know how he saw that one. And the puck will be played back into the DU end. 5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this third period. The goal by Blake Bazin tied it up early in the early goings in the third period. No goals since. Very similar to the first period action we saw in this game. Moen's got it. Plays it to Blake Bazin. He turns it over. Back the other way comes Bear. And Bear takes the puck offside, so we will get a stoppage of play with 5:25 remaining. Should be a really good finish. What am I saying? Should. It is going to be a really good finish. Be where your feet are. 13th ranked Northeastern, 10th ranked DU, all tied up. Puck played up ahead. DU can't get the puck out of the zone. It's taken by Donlon. He's got Cunningham with him. Donlon takes it around the net, avoids a couple of hits, cycles it back to Cunningham. And Donlon laying the lumber there on Bjorndal. Bears got it again. Bear, nifty move at the blue line. Another nifty move. He controls the puck now. He's trying to weave his way through the entire DU defense. Puck comes back out to the blue line for Martinez. And now Karlitz will cover it up with 4:41 remaining in the third. Northeastern pretty much just rolling two lines at this point, cycling between the Bear and Phillips line. Face-off won by the Pioneers in their own zone. Gardner's got it behind Karlitz's net. He plays it up to the blue line for Bjorndal. He's chopped at by Foster. Chasing it after it is Colston Bazin. He has to work against Elbury. Plays it back into the middle. Slides it over for Phillips. Phillips walking in 1-on-4. Drops it back. Elbury shot. Loose puck. They score! Northeastern takes the lead with 4:19 to go. It's Devin Kiscorpse with the fourth goal of the game for Northeastern. And the Pioneers find themselves down one with 4:19 to go. Pioneers going to have to dig deep to pull this one out. Since going up 2-0 in this game, they've been outscored 4-1 by this Northeastern team that's heard all the talk the entire week about how good this DU team's been playing. And now the puck comes back to Moen. He fires it back towards the neutral zone. Foster will turn and fire back into DU's end. Moen's got it, plays it over to the far side for Navarro. Navarro plays it over to the near side for Simon. Simon has Van Arum streaking in front. Instead, he'll fire a shot over the net of Jensen. Puck in the far side corner. Taken by Lundmark. And now here's Elbury. Plays it along the boards. Glove down by Lundmark. Taken by Simon. Slides it over for Van Arm. Does he have more magic left in him? He loses the puck back to Foster, who sends it back into the DU end. 3:30 remaining in this contest. Here's Navarro with it. Navarro with a lot of speed. He'll bring the puck into the Northeastern zone, but that puck will be sent out of play. So an offensive zone faceoff upcoming here for Northeastern, or check that for DU. You wonder if DU is going to use a timeout here. They are not. Hunter Scott's going to let his guys keep rolling here. Mirovic line out there for DU. Face-off won by the Pioneers. There's a quick shot by Patrick just wide. Donlon's got it now. Plays it into the middle. Diving play by Larkin to send it into the DU zone. Here come the Pioneers. Patrick has to tag up. He drifted into an offsides position, and now Northeastern can send it back into the neutral zone. Gardner's got it. Plays it over to Patrick. He fires it into the far side, and we have a whistle, I believe. We have an offsides here. So with 2:55 remaining, the faceoff will come back outside the Northeastern zone. Faceoff won by the Huskies. Bear slides it over to Hopkins. Donlon sends it back into the DU zone. Gardner plays it up for Mirovic. Drops it off for Brophy. Sends it back in, and once again, Patrick drifts into an offsides position. DU has to tag up. Puck thrown in the middle for Bear. Gardner fires it around. And it'll be played back into the neutral zone, taken by Martinez. Sent back into the DU end. No icing called on the play. Carlitz can't believe it. Gardner's got it. 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. Puck sent back into the Northeastern zone, but only for a second. Near side boards, taken by Phillips. He's dealing with Chang Walker. Back to O'Connell. O'Connell working against Bazin. Gardner plays it out. Here's Bjorndal with a minute and 54 seconds left. Bjorndal slides it over for Chang Walker. Carlitz can't get out of the net. Back the other way comes Northeastern. Good stick there by Tommy Moen. He'll send it back into the Northeastern end. Carlitz not looking towards the bench here. Back the other way comes Northeastern. A minute and a half remaining in this contest. Chang Walker will play with it behind his own net. He brings it out along the near side boards. 1:27 remaining. Brings the puck into the Northeastern zone and turns it over. Here comes Larkin. He fires a shot. Good save by Carlitz. 1:15 remaining in the third period. Moen's got it. Plays it up ahead. Chipped in by Bjorndal. In the corner, Van Arum has it. Thrown in the slot. And now Foster will just play this puck deep. It will go down for an icing with 55 seconds remaining, 54 seconds remaining in the third period. And now head coach Hunter Scott will use DU's timeout. So with 54 seconds remaining, a couple of opportunities here for DU. Haven't really been able to sustain much pressure in that Northeastern end. Feels like for the last 10 minutes, the puck has been down in DU's end, and Carlitz has been fighting for his life. Carlitz has made his way onto the bench, so it looks like Hunter Scott has pulled his keeper, and I see 6 players out there for DU. I'm looking at 24 Seebeck. I'm looking at number 2 Van Arum. I'm looking at 16 Simon. I'm looking at 18 Bazin. I'm looking at 32 Mirovic and number 7 Tommy Moen to round out the 6 on the ice for DU. Now, as I just said that, Seebeck goes off the ice, Patrick goes on, and so does Bjorndal. And now I'm just confusing myself as Bjorndal goes back onto the bench. So Bazin, Van Arum, Mirovic, Patrick, Simon, and Moen out there. 54 seconds remaining. Offensive zone face-off coming up here. Northeastern pounding the bench here as they want to escape. Joy Burns with a big victory. Comes back to the blue line. Moen shot, tipped wide. Simon has it, plays it back to the blue line for Van Arum. He walks in, fires a shot, and the puck just drifted offsides with 43 seconds remaining in the third. So the face-off will come out of the Northeastern zone, and now Jackson Carlitz will go back into net. And Nolan Patrick will step onto the bench. Carlitz halfway out of his net here as DU is just going to look to win this draw and send it back into the Northeastern zone. They do that, but only for a second as the puck ricochets off of Moen's skate back into the DU end. 37 seconds remaining, and there goes Jackson Carlitz for the extra attacker. Here's Moen, brings the puck into the zone. Takes it around the net. Looking at the blue line. Cycles it back, but there's a turnover. It's not going to be an icing because Donlon's going to win the race to the puck. He's got the puck behind the net with 15 seconds, and he's going to look to tie it up. DU's got to get the puck out of their own zone. They might not do it. 7 seconds remaining. Finally, they're able to get the puck free. 4 seconds remaining. 2 seconds. 1. Northeastern has done it. They have beaten the Denver Pioneers 4-3 at Joy Burns Arena. What a job there in the final 15 seconds by Brent Donlon to hold off the Pioneers and hold on to the puck. The Huskies have come to Joy Burns, and they're going to leave with a 4-3 win over the Denver Pioneers. We appreciate everybody watching this contest. We'll be back here tomorrow night for senior night for the Pioneers as DU takes on the University of Utah. For Price Productions, I'm Ben Canvasser. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Have a great rest of your Friday evening.